20 years from now, you'll regret more the things you didn't do than the ones you did. So cast off the moorings, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the wind in your sails. Explore, dream, discover. Age is a matter of mind over matter. If you don't care, it doesn't matter. The secret of getting ahead is to start. Courage is the resistance to fear, the mastery of fear, not the absence of it. It's not what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you're sure you know, but isn't true. Never let someone be your priority while you're just an option. Always do what's right. It will please some people and surprise the rest. Kindness is the language the deaf can hear and the blind can see. The man who doesn't read good books has no advantage over the man who can't read. Life is too short to fight with the wrong people and waste time on things that don't matter. It's not the lack of money that ruins men, it's the lack of purpose. Don't be afraid to move on and start something new. Fear is the enemy of ambition, and laziness is its faithful squire. Education consists mainly of what we unlearn along the way. The secret of success is to make your vocation your vacation. To get the full value of joy, you must have someone to share it with. The best way to cheer yourself up is to try to cheer someone else up. I've never let school interfere with my education. Living is the rarest thing in the world. Most people just exist. A man who carries a cat by the tail learns something that can't be learned in any other way. Before continuing, just check if you're already subscribed to this channel, because I am preparing a special series with the best quotes from Mark Twain to help you face life with more ease and purpose. If you take a hungry dog and make him prosperous, he will not bite you. That is the main difference between a dog and a man. Man was born to be a free thinker, but the standards of society trap him in the habit of repetition. Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. What is courage? Courage is resistance to fear. Mastery of fear, not absence of fear. There are three kinds of lies: lies, damned lies, and statistics. Truth is the most valuable thing we have. Let us save it. The worst thing about dying is not death, but what it takes from you, the chance to keep learning. Never underestimate the power of ignorance in motion. I don't know if God created man, but I know that man created God, and so I sometimes wonder which of the two made the bigger mistake. Everyone is a moon and has a dark side that they never show to anyone. If hell exists, then it is just the excess of everything we avoid in life. Peace in life does not come from the destination, but from how you face the journey. When you find a man who values silence more than the sound of his own voice, you have found a wise man. The problem is not dying for a cause. The problem is living without one. I have been through many terrible things in my life, some of which have actually happened. The more I learn about people, the more I like my dog. The problem with the world is not that people know little, but that they know so many things that simply are not true. Common sense is a premature death of the soul. Use it only in moderation. Be brave, because only people who have nothing to lose act out of sheer fear. Life would be infinitely happier if we could be born at 80 and gradually grow to 18. Don't make a promise when you are happy. Don't answer when you are angry, and don't decide anything when you are sad. April Fools is the day we remember what we are the other 364 days of the year. The best things in life cannot be taught, they must be learned the hard way. What a man needs in life is not to live forever, but to have a reason worth dying for. Life is a journey to be savored, not a race to the finish line. There is much more to be learned by watching a leaf fall than by listening to speeches in a hall. Work as if you don't need the money. Love as if you've never been hurt. Dance as if no one is watching. The real secret to success is not in doing what you love, but in loving what you do. When you realize that you are on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect. The world owes you nothing. It was here before you. You can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. There are no bars stronger than those that fear and ignorance build in a man's mind. There is nothing sadder than a young pessimist, except perhaps an old optimist. Life would be tragic if it were not funny, but it would be unbearable if it were not ironic. The best way to get rid of a temptation is to give in to it once in a while. That way you will not get bored with life. Most of the worries in my life never happened. I wonder if in the end, the anxiety was the real waste. If you want to change the direction of your life, change the question you are asking yourself. Never do tomorrow what can be done tomorrow. That gives you 2 days off. Never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and beat you by experience. I learned a long time ago never to try to reform humanity. It is a thankless job, and the tips are lousy. The secret of getting ahead in life is not to complain about the wind, but to adjust the sails. The first half of your life is spent building habits. The second half is spent trying to break them. Always try to be a little kinder than is necessary. You never know when you're running out of second chances. The greatest trick age plays on us is to make us think we still have enough time. The trouble with getting older isn't getting older, it's starting to understand too late what really matters. The two most important discoveries in life are that time is short and that you alone are responsible for what you do with it. You'll never get old if you don't stop dreaming. Age only shows up when dreams fade. Sometimes the best way to discover who you are is to lose yourself completely in something you're passionate about. True genius is knowing when to stop talking, especially when you're right. Freedom is the ability to make your own decisions, even when everyone else is wrong. If you are on the right path, it doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop. Courage is the resistance to fear, but it is recklessness that often wins the day. I am against millionaires, but as one, I can see how this would be a great disadvantage. If you want to change the world, start by changing your own shoes. They are what will take you everywhere you want to go. Leave the quote that had the biggest impact on you in the comments below. I'll tell you my favorite from this video right now. It goes like this. Don't wait for a crisis to decide what really matters. Time will make that decision for you. When it comes to money, take enough to survive, but never enough to imprison you. The only way to win an argument is to avoid it. That, and have a good book to read while people talk. Most men spend half their lives discovering that they have lost the other half. The only way to succeed in life is to have the good sense not to take everything too seriously. Sometimes the most important answers are the ones that don't ask obvious questions. Life has a strange tendency to teach us its greatest lessons when we are too busy to pay attention. The quiet moments often reveal more than any conversation you will ever have in your life. If you want something done, ask a busy person. If you want something ignored, ask a procrastinator. You cannot expect to live a full life until you realize that perfection is the enemy of progress. If you're waiting for the perfect opportunity, it's already gone. The next one is on its way, but you have to go find it. I've discovered that the key to happiness is to stop waiting for it to arrive suddenly, like a lost letter in the mail. Life is too short to be small and too long to live with regrets. What keeps us from achieving great things is not a lack of talent, but a lack of courage to begin. Life is like an onion. You peel one layer at a time, and sometimes you cry. If you don't know where you're going, any road will lead you nowhere. You can't depend on your memory to guide you to the future, because it's too busy reliving the past. The world is full of people who put off until tomorrow what they could have lived yesterday. When we reach the end of our lives, it's not the number of breaths that count, but the moments that took our breath away. These are the moments that define who we are and what really mattered. And the funny thing is that you only discover this when you've already spent a good part of your life on things that don't matter. People spend so much time trying to be perfect that they end up wasting the opportunity to just be themselves. And what they don't realize is that the true charm of life lies in all our imperfections, because that's where humanity shines. There's a universal truth that we all end up discovering too late. Time is like sand between our fingers. The more we try to hold on to it, the faster it slips away. So the secret is not to fight against time, but to learn to walk with it. You can spend your whole life waiting for someone to tell you to follow your dreams, but the harsh reality is that no one is coming to save you. Either you take control of your destiny, or you are content to watch others live the life you have always wanted. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the understanding that some things are more important than fear. True courage lies in moving forward, even when the path ahead is uncertain and you have no guarantee of success. The biggest mistake people make in life is waiting for something that will never happen. They believe that one day, without warning, everything will fall into place perfectly. But what they don't understand is that perfection is an illusion, and life, at its core, is chaotic and imperfect. Throughout your life, you will encounter many people who will try to convince you to be something you are not. And the biggest challenge is not saying no to them, but saying yes to yourself every time without fail. If you live your life afraid of making mistakes, you will never truly live. Mistakes are the building blocks of success, and it is only through them that you find what truly makes you happy. Without failures, there is no growth. True freedom does not come from doing what you want when you want. It comes from understanding that what you really want is not always what you need. And maturity comes from the ability to differentiate between the two. Life has a funny way of testing your patience. It will push you to your limits, put you in difficult situations, and make you question everything you think you know. But it is in these moments that you find the true meaning of strength. We spend most of our youth trying to fit in, only to realize later that true happiness lies in being different. Conforming is the greatest waste of life, because you will never stand out if you are just following the crowd. Fate has a funny way of working. It rarely takes us where we want, but it almost always takes us where we need to be. And the most ironic thing of all is that we only realize this after we reach the end of the journey. The greatest gift you can give yourself is the freedom to not be perfect, because it is in that freedom that you find peace. When you stop seeking perfection, you begin to realize that life is much more enjoyable with all its flaws and nuances. People are always looking for a shortcut to happiness. They think there is a magic formula, a secret hidden somewhere. What they don't realize is that happiness is not found in a final destination, but in each small choice we make along the way. Life is a series of moments. Some are good, some are bad, and many simply pass us by. The real secret is learning to appreciate each one of them, because in the end, that is all we have. Let me tell you something important. The simple fact that you took the time to listen to these lessons already makes you the most intelligent and far ahead of most people. It doesn't matter how you listen to these quotes, whether you're washing the dishes, cleaning the house, exercising, or lying down for a moment of rest. If you were able to reflect, that's what matters. Tell me in the comments below, what are you doing while listening to these lessons? The problem with spending your life chasing goals is that you end up losing what really matters along the way. Goals are important, yes, but they should never be more important than the moments that build your character and define who you are. People often say that time heals all wounds, but what they don't tell you is that sometimes time creates new scars too. The important thing is to learn to accept those scars as part of who you are and move forward without looking back. You will never find true peace if you keep looking for it in the wrong places. Peace is not found in material things or other people. It is inside you, waiting to be discovered. The most important decisions you will make in life are not the ones that involve big choices or dramatic moments. They are the small, daily decisions that over time shape the course of your life. The sooner you accept that life is not fair, the happier you will be. Injustice is part of human nature, and trying to fight it is like trying to empty the ocean with a spoon. You will only tire yourself out and get nowhere. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is do nothing. It is resisting the temptation to act on impulse and waiting for the right moment to make a decision. Life is not about finding yourself. It is about creating yourself. You are the sum of your choices, not your circumstances. And the beauty of this is that you always have the power to choose again. True courage is not in not feeling fear, but in not letting fear paralyze you. Fear will always be there, but you have to learn to walk with it by your side. You can spend your whole life waiting for something amazing to happen, or you can decide to make something amazing happen today. The choice is always yours. Those who spend their lives trying to avoid risks end up missing out on the greatest rewards. Risk is an integral part of success, and the only way to grow is to throw yourself into the unknown. True failure is not making mistakes, it's never trying. Fear of failure is the biggest obstacle standing between you and your dreams, and the only way to overcome it is to face it head-on. When you stop trying to control every aspect of your life, you begin to discover that things have a natural way of falling into place. Control is an illusion, and true freedom lies in embracing chaos. Life has a funny way of teaching us lessons. It rarely gives us what we want, but it almost always gives us what we need. And the real secret is learning to appreciate that difference. People will always try to tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but in the end, the only person who knows what's right for you is yourself. Listen to your heart, because it's rarely wrong. The biggest mistake you can make in life is living to please others. Because in the end, it is your choices that will determine your happiness, not the opinions of others. You will never know what you are truly capable of until you put yourself to the test. The fear of failure is natural, but failure is temporary. The regret of never having tried is forever. Happiness is not something you find at the end of a long journey. It is there every step of the way, waiting to be noticed. But you have to be willing to look. Sometimes the most important thing you can do is simply stop, breathe, and remind yourself that everything will be okay, even when it feels like the world is falling apart. If you want to discover who you really are, you have to be willing to question everything you have ever been taught. Truth is never found in the comfort of convention, but in the chaos of doubt. Life is like a play that allows no rehearsals, so sing, laugh, cry, and live intensely every moment before the curtains close. When you look back and see all that you have overcome, you realize that the impossible is not a barrier, but an illusion created by fear. You will only discover your true strength when the only choice you have is to move forward. It is in adversity that you discover what you are truly made of. The biggest mistake you can make is to let the fear of failure stop you from trying. Because in the end, true failure is not making mistakes, but never having had the courage to start. If you want to do something truly meaningful, you have to be willing to go against the tide. Big changes never happen in the comfort of conformity. We all have days when it seems like the world is upside down and there's no way out in sight. But the truth is that chaos is part of the journey, and if you wait for order, you will end up waiting forever. Life is not about controlling chaos, it's about learning to dance in the midst of it. The man who lives in fear of death lives in fear of life. Life is unpredictable, wild, and full of uncertainty, and that is exactly what makes it worth living. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you will stop worrying about what you cannot control. People like to think they are in control of their lives, but in reality, life has a funny way of laughing at our plans. The only thing we can really control is how we choose to react to what happens to us. What you do with the time you are given defines who you are. Many people spend so much time lamenting what they do not have that they end up missing what is right in front of them. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Some believe that happiness is something you find after searching for it for a long time. But the great secret of life is that happiness is not a destination, it is a state of mind. It is already here, right now, waiting for you to recognize it. True wisdom is not in knowing all the answers, but in having the courage to ask the right questions. And often, those questions don't have easy answers. The search for truth is never ending, but it's the search that makes us truly alive. Fate is a convenient excuse for the weak. People like to believe that things just happen because they're supposed to. But in reality, we choose our path, whether consciously or unconsciously. People spend so much time wishing for a different life that they forget to live the one they have. Time is the one thing you can never get back, so don't waste it on regrets or unrealistic expectations. Success isn't a finish line you cross once and you're done. It's made up of small, daily victories, of decisions you make when no one is looking. And failure is just a stepping stone on the path to those victories. You won't find happiness by following the path everyone else takes. Happiness is found on the road less traveled, on the journey you choose for yourself, even when everyone else is heading in the opposite direction. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to act in spite of fear. And the beauty of it is that once you face your fears, they begin to lose their power over you. You can spend your whole life waiting for the perfect moment, but the truth is that the perfect moment never comes. The secret is to start where you are, with what you have, and let the rest fall into place along the way. The worst thing you can do is live your life on autopilot, letting the days pass by without really living them. If you are not conscious of your choices, you are just existing, not living. Life is too short to waste on regrets. The time you spend regretting what you didn't do is time you could be using to create new opportunities, new beginnings. It's not what you do occasionally that defines your life, it's what you do consistently. The small daily actions, the choices that seem insignificant, are the ones that ultimately build your legacy. The world is full of people who are afraid to fail, but failure is the only path to success. If you have never failed, it means you have never tried anything new. And it is in the new that life really happens. You can blame fate, circumstances, or other people for your failures, but deep down, you know that the responsibility is yours. The only way to change your life is to take full control over your choices. The biggest mistake people make is believing they have time. Time is a finite resource, and the longer you wait, the less of it you have. Life waits for no one, so stop waiting for the right moment and start taking action now. You will never be completely happy if you spend your life trying to please others. True happiness is only found when you live for yourself, when you stop worrying about what others think and start focusing on what really matters to you. The secret to happiness is not in getting everything you want, but in wanting what you already have. When you stop chasing the unattainable, you begin to realize that happiness is within your reach all the time. You can choose to live your life in fear of what might go wrong, or you can choose to live with enthusiasm for what might go right. The choice is always yours, and it defines how you will live your life. It is not the size of the challenges you face that defines your life, but how you choose to face them. True strength comes from within, and that is the only thing no one can take away from you. Life is too short to live with regrets. If you want to do something, do it now. Because tomorrow is not guaranteed to anyone, and the only time we truly have is the present. Life's greatest opportunities often come disguised as problems. Most people avoid them, afraid of failure. But those who have the courage to face challenges head-on eventually discover the true meaning of success. People expect happiness to come to them, but happiness is not something you find. It is something you create. And to create happiness, you have to be willing to take risks, to step out of your comfort zone. As you reflect on these powerful quotes from Mark Twain, remember that wisdom lies not only in hearing them, but in applying them to your daily life. How many times have you found yourself stuck in limiting thoughts or feeling like you weren't living your life to the fullest? Each of these quotes is a powerful insight to help you transform your mindset and live a more authentic and courageous life. If you feel inspired and want to continue this journey of personal evolution, be sure to watch the other videos on the channel. Each new quote can be the boost you need to face your challenges with greater strength and clarity.